A very good morning, children. I welcome you all in today's class, English class for class 10th, and we are going to continue with the topic that we started in the previous session, The Thief's Story by Ruskin Bond. We have already discussed about the author and we had already talked about the characters in the story, and we were halfway through it, right? But before we continue with the story, let me recapitulate what we discussed in the previous session. This is the story of a thief, and this is clear from the title itself. The title clearly suggests that we are going to read a story that is related to a thief, and there are basically two characters only. The first one is Anil. He's a young man, a writer by profession, and he's 25 years old. And the other one is the thief himself, right? So thief is a 15-year-old boy. His actual name is not revealed anywhere in the story, but for this particular episode, he calls himself as Hari Singh. So the characters in the story are Anil and Hari Singh, and we learn that Hari Singh narrates his story. He tells that he was quite skilled at his profession, that is, he was a good thief and he was successful in all his attempts. And there was one specific thing about him, that whenever he attempted a theft, he would change his name for the next move, so as to prevent himself being caught by the police or by the previous former employers, right? So this time he lays eyes on the writer, that is Anil, and he thought that he appears to be quite a simple and kind-hearted man, so it would be easier to befool him. It would be easier to carry out his job. The job was thieving, stealing things. So he goes to Anil, interacts with him, introduces himself as Hari Singh, right? And he tells him that he is looking for a job. He also tells him that he wanted to work for him. But to his surprise, Anil replied that he could not pay him. He said, I cannot employ you, I cannot hire you because I cannot pay you. But yes, if you want to stay with me, I can feed you. That means I'll provide you meals. But then also he puts one condition. He says, I can feed you if only you can cook. Now this was something which was unexpected for this boy, this thief, which he calls himself as Hari Singh. He did not know to cook, and he was like surprised that Anil says he cannot pay him. So maybe he thought for a moment that, was I wrong in my calculations? But still he thought, let me stay with him. And he lies to Anil. He says, I can cook. So the same evening when he prepared dinner, he says the dinner might have been horrible because Anil gave all the food to a stray dog. So that suggests that he could not eat the food prepared by Hari Singh, and so he threw it away. And not only this, he also asked Hari Singh to leave, to set off. Hari Singh pleads him. Hari Singh requests to let him stay with him, and his smile catches attention of Anil, and he agrees. He says, okay. Not only this, he also says that I'll teach you to study, right, to write. I'll teach you maths and to write sentences. So now Hari Singh lives with Anil. As time passes by, Hari Singh notices a few things. He notices one thing, that Anil did not have a regular source of income. He was not employed, he did not have a regular job, right? And he used to earn money by doing different activities. So, obviously, it was very obvious then that when he did not have a regular source of income, he used to be worried about his checks, paychecks. And as soon as he would receive a check, he would go out with friends and celebrate. So, this was the routine that Anil followed, right? So, now let's proceed with the story. We are also told one thing, that Hari Singh, Anil used to give petty tasks, small tasks to Hari Singh, like getting supplies from the market, getting grocery or vegetables, like things from the market, necessary things from the market. And whatever money was left, Hari Singh never paid it back, never returned it. But Anil never said anything. So Hari Singh thought that Anil did not seem to mind. Now, I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from one evening he came home with a small bundle of notes saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night, I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. So, one particular evening, Anil brought money and he said that it was the payment received from a publisher. Anil actually did not have any doubts on Hari Singh. So he simply, very casually, put the money under the mattress. I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. What was Hari Singh's line of work? Yes, Hari Singh was a thief. The line of work means profession. His profession was thievery, stealing things. I had every opportunity for doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door, and I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I had ever met. Now, this line is very important, right? It highlights, it shows the trust that Anil lays on Hari Singh. It very clearly speaks that Anil did not doubt, he did not have any suspicions about Hari Singh. He never had a thought in his mind that Hari Singh could cheat him or could steal something from his house. So he had also given a key to his room, so that in his absence Hari Singh could come in and go out. And that is why it was so difficult to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's so difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he's been robbed. And that takes all the pleasure out of the work. Now, Hari Singh says that it's no fun in stealing from a person who is careless, who doesn't bother, who doesn't care that he had lost something. Anil was such a person, right? So actually all these things show the confusion, the conflict that Hari Singh had in his mind. He knew that Anil was a kind man, he was a nice person. He trusted Hari Singh. He had even given him a key to his room, right? He never hid anything from him. There was no secret in his house. So although he decided that he should go on doing what he had planned earlier, that is, he should steal from Anil now. But still there was a hesitation. The kindness, the goodness of Anil was preventing him from doing so. Well, it's time I did some real work, I told myself. I'm out of practice, and if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. But then finally he decides that he is going to steal money from Anil. He thinks that what does he do with the money? He gets money, then he wastes it all on his friends. And he doesn't pay me even. I, who works for him, he doesn't pay me. So all these thoughts prompts Hari Singh to steal money. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor. So it was night time. The beam of moonlight, it suggests it was night, and Anil was sleeping. Considering the situation, if I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. So finally, as he had decided, at night he slips into Anil's room. He goes there quietly and looks at Anil, and see, as he looks at Anil, he realizes that he was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. That means clear unlined face suggests that he did not suspect Hari Singh. He had no doubts. He was like having a peaceful sleep in the presence of Hari Singh. So this again highlights his trust on Hari Singh. Hari Singh says, I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. So actually he is talking about the approach here. Anil's approach was straight. It was free of any bad feelings, any ill feelings for anyone. While Hari Singh had ill thoughts in his mind, he was planning of stealing from someone who trusted him more than himself, right? Okay. So he's ready to steal. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound and sighed. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the note. So he put his hand under the mattress, as you can see in the picture as well. Anil is putting his hand under the mattress where Hari Singh is putting his hand under the mattress where Anil had kept money, right? So when he pulled out the bundle of notes quietly, Anil sighed in his sleep. Now there was a reaction seen on Anil. Anil sighed in his state of sleep. He turned towards the side where Hari Singh was there. I was startled. Startled means shocked. This was unexpected. So he was like shocked and quickly crawled out of the room. And Hari Singh quickly moves out of the room. Crawling is walking on knees. Look at this posture. Yes. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So he ran away. He started running initially. Then he slowed down a bit and counted the money. And when he counted it, he found it to be 600 rupees. In 50s means there were 50 rupee notes. And in all there were 600 rupees. And this was quite a good amount. So Hari Singh thinks, I can live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. Means he could live a lavish life, a rich life for a week or two. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. Dashed means moved with speed, right? Moved hurriedly. So he did not bother to buy a ticket and he moved straight to the platform to board the train. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. So, Lucknow Express, the train he had planned to board, it had already started leaving the station. It was moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. But I hesitated. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. Now, Hari Singh's confusion, dilemma is again highlighted here. He says the train was just moving out, it was leaving the station. The train had still to pick up speed, means it was not moving at a speed, it was very slow movement. And I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. Carriages here means bogies, compartments. And he says that I could have easily got into one of the compartments. But I hesitated. But he hesitated. Now this word hesitated highlights that confusion. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. So Hari Singh says that I don't know what the reason was there. I don't know what stopped me. But I couldn't gather courage to board the train, and I lost the chance to get away. That is, I could not board the train and get away. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the platform, on the deserted platform. Deserted means lonely, with nobody around. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. Yes. Now, train had left. It was night. Train had already left, and he was standing alone. See, it was late night, and very few passengers must have been there, and maybe it was the last train for that particular day. So everyone who had to board the train had left. Anil was left alone at the platform. He didn't know what he should do now because he did not have any friends. And now, why didn't he have any friends? Because he believed that friends were more trouble than help. He did not believe in friendship. He considered that friends create trouble for you rather than helping you. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. Now, curious here means suspicious. He says he did not want to take any chances. He didn't want any suspicion to be crept up by staying at one of the hotels. So that staying at hotel, that idea is also dismissed. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. And now he realizes that the only person in that particular place whom he knew really well, that means who could have helped him in this situation, was the man I had robbed. So he's talking about Anil here. He says, Anil is the only person who could have given me shelter, who could have helped me in such a situation, but unfortunately I had robbed him. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. Now he left the station and he started walking slowly. He walked through the bazaar. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. Now he's thinking as he's going back, as he's walking, he is actually thinking about so many things. He's thinking about people he had come across, specifically those whom he had robbed, right? So he says, I have seen faces of many people who had lost their goods, their belongings. Goods here means things. The greedy man showed fear. Now, here Hari Singh is talking about the different reactions he has seen on faces of people. So, on the basis of these reactions, he categorizes people here. He says the greedy man showed fear. If a person is greedy, he shows fear on having lost something. The rich man showed anger. If rich men are robbed, they show anger, they express anger at having lost their things. The poor man showed acceptance. And the third category was that of poor men. He says poor men simply showed acceptance, means they would consider it as fate that they have lost something, that they were destined to lose that particular thing. So they accepted it. But I knew that Anil's face, when he discovered the theft, would show only a touch of sadness. Not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. So he also says that he actually categorizes people into three different categories: greedy, rich, and poor. And all these people have different reactions when they discover that they are robbed. But he did not understand in which category should he put Anil, right? He says, I knew that Anil's face when he discovered the theft would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. Now Hari Singh is actually realizing his fault. He knows, he realizes that when Anil would discovered about the theft, about the stolen money, he would be sad, but it would be very brief. That sadness would be very brief. And that brief sadness would be not because he lost money. He would be sad because he was robbed by a person whom he trusted the most, right? So that sadness would be for the loss of trust. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly. It was early November, and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Now he's talking about the scene. He's describing the scene. He's talking about the weather condition. It was night time. It was chilly. Chilly means extremely cold. And it was November month, early November. November had set in. And the weather was, there was a light drizzle. What is drizzle? Slight rain. Raindrops falling, right? So he was he was feeling discomfort. He was feeling cold. To add to his worries, it started drizzling, so he got wet as well. Soon it was raining quite heavily, and that drizzle, it turned into heavy rains. My shirt and pyjamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So actually, he's describing that it was a heavy shower of rains and he got wet. He was soaked to his skin. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. Now he went back to the bazaar, he left the Maidan, and there he sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. Clock tower, you know what is a clock tower? It's a tall, it used to be there in earlier days. Still, there exist a few. It's a tall building, right? With a huge clock on top of it showing time. So, that is a clock tower. The clock showed midnight, so the time was midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. Okay, so he felt for the notes. He looked for the notes, and the notes were damp. They were wet from the rain. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema. But now I had it all. So, still that actually it's a feeling of guilt that is highlighted. Hari Singh is burdened with guilt. The guilt that he had robbed a man who trusted him the most, right? So he's thinking about Anil all the time. He thinks that maybe when he has money, he would give him some rupees to go to the cinema. But what would I do with those 2-3 rupees? Now I have all the money in my hands. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. But at the same time, he also realizes, now what I cannot do is, I can't cook his meals, I can't run to bazaar, or most importantly, I cannot learn to write whole sentences anymore. Right? So, this realization that he won't be able to learn to write sentences scare him actually. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Actually, he had forgotten about this knowledge, the fact that Anil was teaching him to write whole sentences. Whole sentences, I knew, could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. Yes, now see, in these lines, a very important thing has been highlighted. The narrator speaks of the importance that education holds in life. How being educated can transform one's life. That is highlighted in these lines. Hari Singh realizes that stealing is simple, right? It's very easy and it can even make you rich. But in order to be a really big man means a reputed man, a man enjoying a good reputation in the society, a clever and respected man, it needs to be educated. An educated person is the one who can actually be big, clever, and respected, right? So, this thought changes his decision. He realizes that once he gets education, once he learns to write, he can achieve bigger heights in life, right? So, he decides, I should go back to Anil. I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. And now he says that I should go back to Anil. He decides to go back to Anil just for the sake of learning to read and write. I hurried back to the room, feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. Undetected means without being noticed, without bringing it to knowledge, right? So he was very nervous as he returns to the room, and now the nervousness was due to the fact that he had to keep the money back in its position. So he had to do it without Anil noticing him doing so. This was making him nervous. He wanted it to be kept back to its place without Anil knowing about it. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. Edge means corner or border. As you can see in the picture, Hari Singh is putting the money back under the mattress, right? Okay. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50 rupee note between his fingers. Now, next morning, the boy, Hari Singh, he got up late. Of course, he was wet in the night. He was out for so long. He went to sleep late, so he couldn't get up early in the morning. And Anil had already made the tea when he got up. And to his surprise, Hari Singh noted that Anil offered him a 50 rupee note. My heart sank. Heart sank means he was utterly nervous, right? He was nervous. Who was nervous? Hari Singh was nervous. I thought I had been discovered. Why did he feel nervous? Because he thought that his act of stealing money has been revealed, it has been discovered, and now Anil is going to put him to task. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you will be paid regularly. And adding to his surprise, Anil Singh said that I made some money, I earned some money yesterday, and now I'll pay you regularly. Earlier he had said I cannot pay you, but now he says that I'll pay you regularly. My spirits rose. My spirits rose means I regained confidence, right? I was happy. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. But then soon he realized that Anil knew about the incident actually, because all the notes were wet. When he had kept them under the mattress, the notes were dry. They were in proper shape. But now all of them were wet. So Hari Singh realizes that Anil knows that he might have tried to take in the money. But he was happy to note that Hari Singh had not done so, or maybe he had returned the money back to his rightful owner. Today we'll start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. So he simply said, we'll start writing sentences. So Anil is all set to teach how to write sentences to Hari Singh. He knew. So Hari Singh is in a state of shock. He has realized, he has understood that Anil Singh knows everything. But neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. But he did not say anything to Hari Singh. Neither shouted at him or scolded him or anything like that, but behaved with him normally, right, casually. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. Now see, this you will be able to recollect a similar sentence somewhere in the beginning of the story. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way. Earlier on one of the occasions also, Hari Singh smiled at Anil in the most appealing way. Do you remember? Yes, it was when Anil had asked him to leave because he couldn't cook. Then Hari Singh smiled at Anil in his most appealing way, but then he had made an effort. That smile was not natural. He made up that smile because he wanted to please Anil. He wanted to impress him. But this time he says, the smile came by itself without any effort. That means the smile came by itself without any effort means it was natural. This time when he smiled, it was all natural. He did not have to create it. He did not have to make it up. So that was the story of the thief, entitled as The Thief Story. It's actually about the transformation of a thief into a good human being. So let's discuss the theme now. The story focuses on basic human values and relationships. The moral of the story is that human values and relations are important in life, and Values can transform a person's outlook too. Our approach can help someone to transform into a better human being. So, whenever we deal with anyone, we should be very careful. We should remember that whatever our reaction, whatever our approach will be, it's going to affect that person. So that's all for today's session, children. The questions and the assignment will be uploaded on the Google Classroom. The code to the classroom will be resent in the WhatsApp group, right? So thank you all for today. Have a nice day. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you once again.